Welcome, my friends and enemies. Glad you are here. Sorry, a little wired. But yes, thank you for being here. You guys are awesome. I do this just because it's kind of a thing to let me vent out the world that is. But have no fear, we have hit a new golden age in Dungeons and Dragons, specifically. But probably not for the reason you might think. So, we'll jump into that. So, I don't know how many of you are familiar with Wizards of the Coast, but Wizards of the Coast is particularly beloved by old school Dungeons and Dragons fans, old school Magic the Gathering. You know, they've kind of dipped their toes in a little bit of everything. And I mean, people's got tons, and I mean literally tons of books, artwork, accessories, miniatures, all this kind of stuff. Decks of cards, you name it. Like it's been a thing for a while for the nerd community, right? But what you might not know is that all of what we've had has nothing compared to what we are about to get, or have technically gotten. So, just to let you in on a little secret. Yes, this is real. This is actually real, and I wish it wasn't. But we are in a new golden era, folks. Actual character art from the original Keep on the Borderlands on the left, of ruffians shaking someone down, quite literally, compared to on the right, Wizards of the Coast's Keep of the Borderlands remake, featuring someone's disgruntled Asian aunt in a wheelchair. I wish I understood why this is a thing. Because I honestly have no idea why this is a thing. And the golden age I'm speaking of is not that of an era in which success, popularity increase. No, it's the era of hilariousness. Everything is satire now. Official printings by Wizards of the Coast is literally just... It's silly. It's ridiculous. It's not real. There's no way this can be real. So, but it is. It is. Now, I think there's a curious concept of what would happen in a Wizards of the Coast Dungeons and Dragons world in which, you know, warriors do get injured, maimed specifically, in the world. How would they continue on? And the things that pop in my head is like dwarves who get their hands lopped off and instead they put giant like spike kind of glove things to replace their hand, whether it be mechanical because, you know, they're engineers and they can use all fingers, or if it's just like this giant meat hook that just they can grab their opponent with and then shove a dagger in their throat or something. You know, something awesome that would like make up for somebody who's disabled in an actual adventure, because that would make sense. That would be cool. That would be awesome. But no, we get a disgruntled Asian aunt in a wheelchair. What happens if a warrior loses their legs? Do they get some cool contraption that lets them still walk? Maybe like spider legs, like let them crawl around and they can still do fighting and whatnot, and they can rotate 360 degrees, like something cool. Like, no, we're going to give them a wheelchair. Why a wheelchair? Because they have wheelchairs in real life. But we're playing a game in a fantasy world where there is no real life outside of maybe some mechanic aspects like swinging weapons and attacking and, you know, weapons on skin, flesh, that kind of a thing. Why could they not come up with something cooler? Because a wheelchair is very, very limited in what it can do. It's not practical in any shape or form. Not for dungeon diving, climbing stairs to the top of a keep. What's a wheelchair going to do? They're going to make some fancy thing where the wheels turn into like squares and they just up. Why not just have spider legs? Why not have some other freakishly weird contraption that still gets them what they want without looking stupid, because that's, quite frankly, pretty stupid. So when we have technically the same story, Keep on the Borderlands, which is the left and the right image, it's the same story, but completely come to a different conclusion, we'll say. How should we design it? Well, should we design it with barbarians and bandit ruffians and, picking people up and shaking them for all their worth and all their loots? Or we could do wheelchair aging disgruntled ladies. Have you considered the satire in this? Does this not come across as absolutely racist? Does it? The wheelchair is not a good contraption for a non-modern era. Because in non-modern eras, they don't have necessarily paved roads. They don't have necessarily flat surfaces. It's going to be a very bumpy, very uncomfortable ride. Whereas other devices you could come up with, heck, a magically powered hovercraft would have been better than this. I don't know what to tell you. This is just, it's downright silly. But on the bright side, we have something to laugh at. On the downside, we get to watch a world of games and styles of things that we love and hold dear turn to utter crap. So, welcome to the golden age, the golden era of Wizards of the Coast. I hope you enjoy it, because all I can do is laugh to keep me from crying on the inside. So, thanks for hanging out. Hopefully that threw a little spark of humor in your day, as well as all those tears that you will be drinking out of your own cup, because we all must. But, on a good note, short video. But yes, let me know what you think down in the comments below. Hit that like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Check out the description for Discord and Twitter/X. Also check out the other content creators that I like to promote in the description, as well as businesses I like to promote, and I am not sponsored by any of these. None of them. Zero. I make -$, because I have to pay for electricity. But yes, and internet. So, thanks everybody for hanging out, and remember, my friends, walk in the light.